8:55, June 28th, 2019. We conducted a little test the other day with CCI stingers with a gong. This used to be my plate, and I put this at roughly about 225 meters using Strelok app. We took a shot at this gong at 225 meters. This is 55 centimeters wide, and using the reticle on your scope, you could range the distance without having to have a rangefinder, or without measuring the actual distance by walking or a tape measure or whatever. The formula is you have to know the diameter of this or of your target, which in this case was 55 centimeters. You multiply that by a factor of 10, it would be 550, and then divide that number by the number of mil dots that takes from one side to the other side of your target at the distance, which in this case was I think about 2 mil dots, which would yield to a distance of 225 meters. So using this method, you could actually find out the distance between you and your target, and then we put the distance into Strelok app or into my ballistic chart that I have stuck on the stock of my rifle. Actually, it told us that we should have 6.75 mil dots of holdover. The amount of drop at that distance was, I guess, about 160 centimeters or something. So we took that 6.75 mil dots of holdover, and sure enough, we hit it. We had a hit, and the interesting thing was that CCI stingers actually penetrated a hole right through this aluminum plate at that distance. I wonder if you can see the... Let me see. I wonder if you can see the actual... the actual hole in there. There it is. So it was a very, very good experience. Mind you, the ballistic coefficient for our bullet was not fine-tuned. That is, we used the raw data in terms of the velocity of the bullet at muzzle, which was 1280 feet per second, and the ballistic coefficient of the bullet, which I guess was 0.084, and took the shot, and it was a hit 15 centimeters higher than the actual target, that is. But the other thing that we could have done, and the other thing that we will hopefully do later, is to measure or fine-tune the actual ballistic coefficient of your bullet. We do that by taking aim at the center of a tall target at a long distance, roughly about maybe 200 meters, 300 meters. The farther, the better. And then put that drop in centimeters into Strelok, and it gives us the actual ballistic coefficient for this particular rifle. And by doing so, we could have a better calculation for the actual drop, and hence the holdover. But overall, it was a great experience. Because of the nature of this thing, we actually heard the bang after, I guess, based on the Strelok data, it took 0.7 seconds for the bullet to to fly through the air, to travel through the air to hit the target. So there was a a delay between the shot and the actual impact, and of course the delay for the for the bang to reach back to us after that, after going through air to travel through air to reach to us. It was a very pleasurable experience. I hope we can fine-tune this to hit here later on when we actually fine-tune the ballistic coefficient for this bullet in this particular rifle. I'm not going to use too much ammunition on long-range shooting, because my target here is basically, my goal here is basically hunting rather than shooting, and 22 ammunition is kind of expensive in this corner of the woods, not to mention scarce, and so I saved that for a particular for the occasion, in fact. Thank you for watching.